Okay guys, I'm here today with Garry Tonon, huge honor for me. Guys, probably the most exciting grappler to watch nowadays. Every time you watch him competing, he's always like hitting submissions all over the place and taking risks. And he just shot an entire structure all about the habits for a highly
effective jiu-jitsu.
Highly effective jiu-jitsu. And today he's gonna show us here two of his favorite submissions, which involves like other submissions, and one for the upper body and another one for the lower body. And can't wait to learn it.
So when you're looking at highly effective athletes in this sport, and how to perform jiu-jitsu at the highest level, one of the things you'll see most common, and you won't just see it in jiu-jitsu, you see this in other martial arts as well, boxing, kickboxing, whatever the case may be. You see people attack in combination. They don't just throw one punch. They throw three punches,
yep.
Right? One after another. And sometimes the first two punches land, sometimes they don't, and the third one lands, right?
Yep.
And we want to start thinking about jiu-jitsu in the same way as we're trying to approach excellence in the sport, right? And people do this all the time without thinking about it, but it's important to create that mental association between how do I attack most effectively. My training partner goes down to his knees, and I could start things off by starting to try to attack an udegatame, for example. So I start pulling my training partner forward. I'll position my training partner out like so by bringing my elbow over my training partner's elbow and grabbing my elbow, and I throw a leg over my training partner's back. And maybe if I was a beginner in the sport and we're talking about like okay level jiu-jitsu, I go after the submission. Bernardo kind of rotates his elbow, pulls his arm out. I fail at the submission, and then I start over and maybe plan my next attack, right? If we want to be highly effective in this sport, we want to have a habit of attacking one after another. So I pull my training partner forward, I go after the udegatame, and it's maybe not working out as well as I'd like it to. My training partner doesn't tap. So we transition in combination to another submission hold, the triangle. I fish my leg through and start attacking my training partner's neck. Now, as I start trying to pivot and position myself for the triangle, Bernardo's a pretty big guy. I might have a tough time triangling him. So I go, man, maybe the triangle's not working out. So then we shift into a 3/4 jujigatame like so, all right, for the submission, okay? Now, we have combinations that we certainly would attack on our training partner's lower body as well, okay? Same sort of situation. We can be okay by doing one attack after another. Maybe I try an outside heel hook or something, and Bernardo rolls away and slips his foot out, right? And I lose him, and then I try to re-attack again, and I'll go after his leg again, whatever the case may be. It happens sometimes in the context of a match. But if we can develop the habit of attacking one move to a second move to a third move, we're always going to be more effective. We'll have more submission attempts and more likely chance that we're actually going to submit our training partner. So we start things out with that outside heel hook. My training partner starts to turn a little bit, and he puts his knee in the pocket of my hip and straightens his leg. And it puts me in a situation where I'm having a tough time getting that heel hook pressure. However, I can heel knee bar my training partner. I'll put my foot down on the floor, I control that heel, and I hip up. Now I could put pressure in the knee bar here, but maybe my training partner continues that turn. Now I transfer off into the inverted heel hook on the other side. And from here we apply pressure, turning our hips into our training partner's knee to finish the inverted heel hook. So you can see that by attacking in combination, I increase the amount of submission danger that my training partner has, and the likelihood that I'm going to eventually submit my training partner. Instead of just doing one-off movements, resetting, and then trying to have to attack my training partner again. Keeps him threatened the entire match if we're working in combination as opposed to just one submission at a time.
Oh, okay, right before the video, you said something that was very interesting. So you have a bunch of combinations on your mind, but you always try to focus on only three, right?
3 to 4 part combinations are a good way to train yourself to do combinations. It's hard to execute, especially when you're teaching, to tell somebody, hey, here, do this 6-part combination. It's like a lot to remember. It's a little artificial.
Yep.
More than likely, you attack in 2s, 3s, 4s, and then you start planning your next move. Typically, that's the way that things happen in the context of the sport. For example, again, in the sport of boxing or kickboxing, you rarely see somebody do an 8-punch combo or something like that, unless somebody's just completely dead, right? And fortunately for us in jiu-jitsu, if somebody's completely dead, the first submission's probably gonna break them or tap them. So
for every submission that you develop, you are always developing 1 or 2 or 3 around it, just to make sure that if that one fails, you have the second option, third option, fourth option. How does your brain works when you're developing a submission?
Yeah, that's really, really important to me because I basically assume I'm gonna fail. I basically go after, when I'm grappling, and I'm training and these sorts of things, I assume that whatever submission it is that I'm going to go for is going to fail, and then I need to have an answer for when it does fail, what am I going to do next? You know what I mean? And I think by having that mentality, and that's kind of what I'm doing with this DVD to try to develop the habit of doing this, to have that type of mentality means that you're always spending your time thinking about how to attack your opponent, as opposed to, man, I go after an attack on you and it fails, and I get frustrated, right? And I take the time to kind of the opposite of admiring your work, like being dissatisfied with your work and be like, I didn't get that move, and now I got to try something else. It's like, no, like that defense that you did led into another movement. I extend the arm, he goes to rotate. Well, there's that triangle. All right, well, he's defending the triangle well. He's kind of posturing up. Oh, there's the, the Juji Gatame. I look at it as an opportunity to do something new, an opportunity to attack you in a different way, as opposed to some major failure on my part. You know what I mean?
No, but it's cool because you go with that mindset that your probably your first shot's gonna fail, but sometimes it doesn't. Because I remember, you had the most beautiful submission, in my opinion, in the ADCC history. That was the flying heel hook. The scissor heel hook. So Garry, just one more time each one, just so everybody can see from the different angles.
All right, so first thing I like to do is get my training partner's hands to the floor, okay? Make sure I have extended arms, and I keep that arm extended by coming elbow over elbow, all right? And of course, we could finish the submission here. It's not the most reliable submission in the world, though, so we often have our training partner turn their thumb, or maybe even try to posture up as they're doing so, and that's what opens us up for that triangle, right? All right, as we start transitioning and trying to make our way around the corner to set up a proper angle for the triangle, maybe our training partner starts to posture a bit. We're having a tough time there. We X our legs like so, and we go right into our 3/4 Juji Gatame, all right? And we deal with that failure, okay? Same thing now on the legs, okay? We look to get into situations where we start with an outside heel hook. I might tap my training partner here. A lot of times they rotate and get that leg very straight. When the leg is very straight, it's difficult to get the rotation necessary on the foot to finish the heel hook. I can't really get pressure on the knee in the way that we would in a twisting lock. So now for the heel knee bar, I put straight pressure. I drive my hips into my training partner's knee to try to break. But every so often as we do this, our training partner misaligns a little bit. Now it's up to me to follow him again. All right, now from here, I cover the toes, get my wrist underneath my training partner's heel, and we start setting up this inverted heel hook. And if you incorporate drills like this, these 3-part combinations into your training, as opposed to, all right, we're just gonna drill the outside heel hook, when in the context of the match, you're far more likely to follow up one attack after another after another.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so guys, Garry just showed an entire structure all about that, all about creating these habits to combine submissions. So it's going to be at bjjfanatics.com very soon. Maybe by the time you're watching, it's already there. So make sure to check that out. And thanks so much, Garry. It was awesome. Thank you. Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTubeFaria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.